Peace. I am Joy Allen of the Memoirs of a Karmic Dynasty, and you are now watching Crumb TV.
Brother Red Pill representing Know the Ledge, one half of the Twin Pillars. I am here rocking with Crumb TV.
You are watching Crumb TV.
You can find me on Crumb TV.
You can catch me on Crumb TV.
This is Chief Kalanago here at Crumb TV.
I am Joy Allen of the Memoirs of a Karmic Dynasty in the Crumb TV studio.
Honored to be on your program, brother.
Peace.
Peace.
Crumb TV.
Peace. Ashe. Islam. Namaste. Hotep. Grand Rising. Assalamu alaikum. Walaikum salam. Shalom. Hotep. Grand Rising. Bom dia. Unjambo, Oseo, Holito. Whatever the greeting is in your respective language, I am your humble brother Crumb here for another installation of Crumb TV. So this is the movie Soul. Soul, the movie. This is a movie review. And of course, you already know I'd like to do things the way I like to do things, family. So I want to acknowledge the first responders who are first in the building. Let's see who we got here. Now, some of the family had already got here before the gent even started. So it was actually my good brother, Jermaine Johnson. He said, smash that like button, master students. If you are a master student family, you already know what to expect. It's about to be good. So yeah, you already know what to do. Smash that subscribe button. I'm sorry, that like button, because you're already subscribed. This is the number one in the building. It was Will Winston. He said, peace, King, you humble master student. Yes, it is I, your humble brother. Number two in the building was Gabriel Nictia. Says, why? YSY, Budweiser. I don't know. You tell me why. Number three in the building is Gabriel again saying, in the house. I think maybe that first one was a typo. Why? I don't know, but it is what it is. Number three in the building is Kai, the creatress. She says, peace. We saying peace back. I see you. I appreciate you. I love you. You already know what it is. So with that said, family, I want to let y'all know that I am going to have a event. It is called the Digital Wallet Workshop. If you want to be a part of the Digital Wallet Workshop, just email me at crumbtvads. That's crumbtv alpha delta sigma at gmail.com. If you want to be a part of the Digital Wallet Workshop, we're going to get our wallet set up for 2021. And we're also going to learn how to invest and try to get a little change to put in the wallet, a couple coins. You already know what that is, family. So if you want to be a part of the Digital Wallet Workshop, I already did the video on that to give you an idea of what to look forward to. And we're going to do some investing with that. So just email me at crumbtvads. That's crumbtv alpha delta sigma at gmail.com. So with that said, family, I want to thank you in advance for everybody who's going to be there. We're so excited to have you. So without further ado, I wanted to say peace and love to my sis. Sis, thank you so much for coming on the platform. How are you?
Peace, Brother Crumb. I am well. How are you?
All is truly well. All is truly well. So, sis, there was a request, several requests to watch the movie Soul. Did you have a chance to see that?
Yes, I did. Like 3
All right,
times.
so now, I know you were a little bit reluctant to watch the movie, and I think, that was just because it's really hard for them to do movies that really reflect anything positive in terms of us. So at first, when I saw it, I'm like, it's a gimmick. But with that said, I wanted to ask the listening. Well, actually, here before I say anything, can you tell the people who you are, where they can find you at?
Yes, I am Joy Allen of the Memoirs of a Karmic Dynasty, and I am known to bust up all lies. So I'm definitely here today to share some that I have seen during this movie review. You can find me on Facebook at Joy Allen. You can find me on my YouTube channel, The Memoirs of a Karmic Dynasty. You can most always for sure find me on Branch of Knowledge YouTube channel, and definitely on Crumb TV.
Gratitude. I really appreciate that. Okay, so with that said, the movie review, I want to ask the family, if you have seen this movie, can you please Press 1 if you have seen this movie. Can you please press 1? If you have not, press 2. We got to know what we're dealing with. And if you have not and you won't, it's okay. Press 2. But if you have, press 1. So with that said, let's see what we got here. Slide number 1. Let's start from the top. Do you mind? So what do we have here, sis? You just got to unmute your mic.
Got it. Okay, so here we have the opening scene of the movie Soul. And we have here the teacher, Joe Gardner, the main character, played by Jamie Foxx. And on the chalkboard in his jazz class, there is a song by Duke Ellington written on the chalkboard behind him, and it's called Things Ain't What They Used to Be.
So this is our first reference in the movie, and it is to Duke Ellington. Let's go to the next slide. Now, as you said earlier, this movie is all about a guy named Joe Gardner, who was played by Jamie Foxx. I found it interesting because Disney is famous for having musicals. This movie did not have a musical. In that aspect, there was no Frost soundtrack. They didn't do those famous Disney songs, like in Lion King. But and I found that to be interesting because Jamie's a singer.
Right.
But whatever. Next slide. All right. So what do we have here?
Here we have one of Joe's jazz students in his class, and they are having a class where everybody's playing. And then he asked Connie to do an improv. So Connie, by herself, she's playing her instrument, and she goes into this zone. So she zones out. She just is feeling the music and feeling herself.
Absolutely. This zone is a spiritual place, which they talk about in the movie. In addition to that, we're going to see some foreshadowing here. Next slide. So the principal knocks on the door of the classroom, and her name is Principal Arroyo. And she's a Spanish lady, and Arroyo is a Spanish name for stream. The principal's name is Arroyo. She is a Spanish lady. Arroyo means stream in the desert. And she represents a full-time stream of income as she offers him a full-time job as a middle school, in middle school number 70 as a band teacher. Oh, this looks like it's not readable. It's not in the initial format. Nonetheless, absolutely. What did you make of that?
So I made of this that, for one, he had his dream of being just playing his music. Middle school, being a teacher was something that got him through. Excuse me. And so she came to the classroom and offered him this full-time position with benefits. So she's offering him this stream of revenue. Secure, some would say that gigs aren't so secure. And also we have the middle school number 70, which there was a lot of numerology in this movie. So we'll touch on some numerology as we go. We won't go in depth in it because we have a lot to cover, but we know the 70 is the number 7.
7 plays a big part in this movie, which deals with a lot of numerology, which is in Jewish gematria. Also, you're going to see where in his life he's in a desert, and this stream of income should be something he's happy about, but he's not happy about it. Let's see what happens next. So, a little bit more about Connie. Whites have taken over jazz. Connie represents Asians or non-melanated people taking over a melanated aspect of the culture. In that room of the first opening scene, it's mostly all melanated students, and the person who is really leading in craft that was made by melanated people just so happens to be a non-melanated person. Did you see a culture shift through Connie?
I did, and actually, from studying on the making of this movie, they decided the whole format of this movie was actually the opposite at first, and so they decided on the topic of jazz, and then they determined, well, it's jazz, then it has to be a Black person. No, apparently it didn't, because low key they got Connie coming up to show that it's theirs. Is being whitewashed. It's being washed, period, some manner.
Cultural appropriation. Next slide. So after he gets offered this position full time, he goes home, tells his mother she's elated, but she's not a very supportive woman. She has her own shop, and his father's not in the picture. In this sense, we see where he's a beta male. She's really sunning him to the fullest sense, and going to the extent, because it's two other women. I guess they're seamstress. Are they seamstress?
Yeah.
So it's him and these other seamstress, and they gang up on him and literally air his dirty laundry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's go to the next slide.
Okay.
So Lamont Baker is the first Black guy in the movie, other than the main character, Joe Gardner. He's a supporting male character in an ocean of cantankerous melanated women. Mm-hmm. The shirt we have here was a shirt that he was wearing. It says classic and fusion and free and modal and bebop. These are genres of music. The actual character, who I liked a lot, to be honest with you, is played by none other than Questlove from the band Roots. What did you think about him coming in like this, juxtaposed to all the melanated women?
I think that it's important in our community that the brothers, the men, know that they can support each other, and we need our men in order for us women to be in the place that we need to be for our people. And also, we found out that this T-shirt that he was wearing in the movie is actually an actual T-shirt for sale. They're selling it. Mm-hmm.
Could we actually go back to his mother real quick? Yeah, his mother was played by Felicia. Her voice was by Felicia Rashad. Mm-hmm. Felicia Rashad is on fire right now. She just had a role in Jingle Jangle. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, so in the movie, the Netflix, Black-ish premiere, Jingle Jangle, the person telling the whole story, it opens and closes with Felicia Rashad. And here we have Felicia Rashad again playing the mother of Joe Gardner. And she sounds quite beautiful. She sounds like she hasn't aged a bit. Melanin is a hell of a carbon compound. So with that said, I just want to shout her out real quick for doing her thing and playing a good part, even though I did not like that character. Next slide, please. Yep. So yeah, old boy calls her. Questlove calls your boy, mm-hmm. and says he's gigging because Questlove, his relationship with Joe Gardner is that he used to be Joe Gardner's student. Mm-hmm. And Joe Gardner made a real big impact on his life. And Joe Gardner up until now has been gigging, and his mother talks cold crap about the fact that he's been gigging, meaning playing odd and in odd jobs where he just goes to bands and plays piano because he's a pianist. Mm-hmm. So now he's gigging. He gets offered the full-time job. His mom's happy, like finally you don't got to gig no more, and you can finally officially get paid for playing music, even though he's not playing at a capacity he wants to play at because he's just teaching children music. He's not really playing music.
Yeah.
which we'll learn later how this is such a wrong or negative way to look at life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but anyway, so now Curly, who is Questlove's character, who he taught the drums, Curly gets a job playing drums for Doretha. Can you tell us about Doretha, this character?
Yeah, she's voiced in the movie by Angela Bassett, and she is the star on the jazz scene.
Right.
And if you play with her, you've made it. You're big time.
So now he's on the phone with Curly, who is played by Questlove, and he says to him, if I could perform with Doretha, I would. If I could perform with Doretha Williams, I would die a happy man.
Yes.
Again, just like Connie, we're seeing foreshadowing. I should have put the definition of foreshadowing up on the screen for all the master students who just like to know words and crap. Next slide. So Doretha is at a club called The Half Note. Can you read this little blurb we got here?
Live at the Blue Note is a live album by American pianist, composer, and band leader Duke Ellington, recorded at the Blue Note nightclub in Chicago, not to be confused for the one in New York, for the Roulette label in 1959.
So now he is, we see our second Duke Ellington reference. The first one was in the classroom. The second one is at the club called The Half Note, which is a play on Duke Ellington's Blue Note. So this is where he's going to meet Doretha at. Next slide.
Yes, and I noticed in this movie, they won't reference the artist by name. They won't say their name out loud. It's always written or implied. So right. Say Duke Ellington. You won't hear them say that in here.
Right. Now, it's important to note that Doretha, who is the only artist he mentions, is not a real character. But could you read this right here, sis?
Dorothea first featured on an album cover in the Disney Pixar movie Onward.
So, yeah. Now, I just realized I was pronouncing it wrong. Dorothea. Mm-hmm. Now we know Theo. Do you know what Theo means?
It's short for Theodore.
Right. Theodore.
Mm-hmm.
Theodore coming from the Greek word Theo. Theo meaning God. So Theo is masculine. Thea. It's not what was I saying? Doretha. It's actually Dorothea. Mm-hmm. Not Dorotheo, like male god. Thea, like female god. Dorothea. Can anybody under the sound of my voice, and I know this is a stretch, most of y'all have seen the movie Soul. That's right and exact. However, a lot of family is like, yeah, I watched it. It had us in it, but I didn't watch the movie Onward. And I get it. If you have watched the movie Onward, smash that one button for me. But a lot of you haven't. So if you have not, smash that number 2 button. It's okay. I watched it. I don't know why. It wasn't a great movie. It was cool. But it turns out in that actual movie, at one of the scenes, her album is in the kitchen by the 8-track player.
Mm-hmm.
I find that to be very interesting. So he goes to see Dorothea, and Dorothea says, you know, because she loved his performance. She said, show up at 8, sound check at 7.
Show up at 9.
I'm sorry, show up at 9, sound check at 7. Here we go another time with numerology or Jewish gematria. Mm-hmm. So again, the number 7.
Mm-hmm.
Because, okay, yeah, you can go to the next slide. Because when he went to her rehearsal, when they were going to give him a chance, she talked crap to him. A lot of melanated women were negative towards melanated men in this movie. She talked cold crap to him. Oh my God, another high school substitute teacher. Are we down to this now? Come on, teach. Let me see what you got. You know, I gotta be honest with you. Old girl reminded me of Eeyore from
Winnie the Pooh.
Come on, Teach.
What's that? No, that's Winnie the Pooh with Christopher Robin. Yeah.
No, Eeyore. It's Eeyore.
Yeah, and Winnie the Pooh.
Come on, Teach. Show us what you got.
He did.
I was like, dang. But you know, she was a saxophone player and she had that real mellow saxophone. You know, come on, Teach. Show us what you got. So he showed her what he got. And what happened?
Well, in his solo, he went into the zone.
He went into the zone. This is the same zone Connie went into, but they laid it on thick. You know, so if you're a stupid person, you can still understand this movie. I don't want you to think you got to be Crumb TV smart. You can understand it because it's you're gonna like. This isn't even this is more foreshadowing. This is more gravy on the rice. Even like, you know, I remember one time I went out to eat back in my meat eating days. I put so much A1 sauce on my steak that the person was like, I didn't know you like a little bit of steak with your A1 sauce.
Okay.
I didn't realize I flooded my steak. I'm like, more A1 sauce. Shoot, where that Heinz 57 at? Put some of that on there too. But you know, more foreshadowing. Next slide. They put it on heavy. So he gets the gig. Old girl loves him. And he gets on the phone and starts blabbing.
Mm-hmm.
And could you read the slide?
Crosstown Bus 11 Intuition 4 Focus on a secure foundation for the future.
So with that said, he gets the job. He's happy because this is the biggest gig he's ever got. He's on the phone, not walking where he's supposed to go. He almost dies 7 times.
7.
7 is a big number in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So he almost dies 7 times. And of the 7 times he almost dies, one of the times is he almost gets hit by this bus, which says Crosstown.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that's really ominish. It's very foreshadowy because they about to take his ass way across him. It says Big Apple City Town. I'm sorry, bus number 1104. And as you pointed out, 11 is intuition, 4 is focus. That's powerful. Next slide.
On a secure foundation. So since he's not focused on his foundation, this will happen to him next.
Wow. Oh, right. On a secure foundation.
Mm-hmm.
This is foreshadowing. Pay attention. The bus through numerology is telling you, watch your step. Next slide.
Oh, we didn't have the manhole. So he went down in the manhole is what happened next.
He fell into a manhole.
Fell into the manhole.
And he dies. Kind of. He's dead-ish.
Dead-ish.
So you know, sis, I gotta tell you, I gotta come out the closet.
Go ahead.
I'm a nerd. You know, when I watch movies and stuff, I be having closed caption on.
Yes. Yes.
So when I was watching the movie, I watched it with the captions on. I want to read and listen. But you know, I'm a master student, so what do you expect? Right. So in the captions, this is what Disney put when the music started playing once he fell into the dead zone. It said somber, ethereal music plays. Can you read my little blurb under that?
Yes, Disney referenced the ethers in the music when Joe approaches the great beyond.
If you can you hear that tapping behind me?
I hear it sound like rain.
Yeah, it's rain.
Yeah,
it's rain. When I was in California, it never rained. After being there for so long, I was there for like maybe after like the 4th month. I'm like, hey, anybody notice it's not raining out here? And then everybody all at once. It never rains inside because it don't. But anyway, so yeah, I'm in Atlanta and it definitely rains out here. Anyway, so If you hear anything in the background, that's what it is. He falls into the place where he goes to the great beyond, and they're playing ethereal music, alluding to the fact that this place that he's in, this soul plane, is an ether zone, an ether plane, an etheric place. Next slide.
Oh, and for those who don't know, that blue creature right there is Joe.
Oh, that's Joe. I'm sorry. How did I miss that?
Yeah. Here we go.
So, him in this ether world, that set me on fire.
Yes.
I like to beat a horse. So it says here, can you read that? Is that big enough for you to read at the very top?
It says all other humans had 6 ether hair as other animals of this planet Earth. 9 ether hair is a symbol of an extraterrestrial being. All animals and humans on this planet have 6 ether hair.
And you could read the little columns there, please.
Under the 6, we have caucasoids have little to no hair on the comb because their anchor is in their scalp. 9, negroids have a lot of hair left on their comb or pick because their anchor is, what's that say? Is not something on their scalp.
Oh,
This is how 9 ether hair looks on a microscopic level.
And then the last one.
Native Americans' hair looks like this on a microscopic level.
So our hair coils, and it has tight coils that form 9s. The European hair has a very weak coil. We call that 6 ether, and the Native American in Indian has hollow hair. That's what you're seeing. They have hollow hair. The core of your hair is called medulla, just in case anybody was wondering. In the anatomy of a hair follicle, the core of your hair is called medulla, like Medusa or medulla oblongata. They don't have this connection in their hair. Their hair is hollow. So now you have their hair can't even curl. So now you have our hair, which has a natural strong curl. Next slide. This is because we are one with the universe, which is a 9 ether universe. And I found it funny in a movie about a melanated man, they play an ethereal music, because when we're dealing with the 5 elements, the Greeks initially proposed. I'm sorry, can you read this for me?
The Greeks initially proposed the existence of these 5 essential elements. Stay balanced by combining them, or choose your birth signs.
Can you read me the 5 elements?
Air, earth, fire, water, ether.
Ether being the 5th element. They made a movie called The 5th Element. I would advise anybody who is interested in topics like soul to watch the movie 5th Element, then come back and watch Soul, and it might make a little more sense. Can you read this little meme to the right for me, please?
Melanin/carbon is more than just skin pigmentation. 9 ether is the chemical key to life that makes up the universe.
I should have put this in here, but when people have the Jamie Foxx disease, not Jamie Foxx, Michael J. Fox. What disease that Michael J. Fox have?
Was that Lou Gehrig's? Was it?
No, he had the pop and lock disease. His ass was
Parkinson's disease.
Parkinson's. You know what Parkinson's is, right?
Piece
It's
of
where you don't have enough nigra substantia.
Mhm.
There's a black substance in your brain. Melanin is a neural neural substance in your brain.
Mhm.
And it floods the body so much so that a after effect is that the skin gets dark. Not a thing where, oh, it just so happens that your skin gets dark. No, there's a chemical compound so so prevalent in your brain that it floods the rest of your body, making your skin dark. This is a it's called neuromelanin. Next slide, please. Can you read this for me?
Souls on ladder to great beyond. This is the stairway to heaven. Morphed. Okay, so these souls morphed into light orbs. This is a part of the great divine feminine. Notice the number 9, the word 9 in feminine.
So now when Disney depicts this ether zone right before he officially dies, because he's on his way to the stairway to heaven.
Mm-hmm.
So when they depict this ether zone where he's on his stairway to heaven, the people before him that are officially going to die, they turn into circles. Why do we consider circles feminine, sis? Do you know?
Because the angles, the lines, when they're curved, they're feminine, and when they're straight, they're masculine.
That is a true statement. When we're dealing with straight lines, those are considered masculine. When we're dealing with circular lines or shapes, those are considered feminine. This is the basics of art. If you can't draw, then you probably don't understand what we're talking about. But if you are nice with the, whether it be charcoal, colored pencils, or what have you, then you realize, you're going to draw a woman more curvy and a man more straight lines. Right, that's it. Vertical and wide shoulders, straight up and down vertical. So yeah, this is the architecture of this etheric place that they're talking about. So here we have a book called The Architecture of the Afterlife, the flip side code. So we're going to see where things represent their true divine feminine origins, and that's the architecture of how they present this etheric place. And the more masculine thing in this picture is going to be the stairway. The way to this divine feminine place is through a masculine path, a phallus, with the stairway would be almost. But that is my interpretation. This is my understanding of what Disney is trying to present to us, and what I'm saying that, hey, Disney is studying us, and this is what they see when they look at our people, that what we may not even see. Continue on, please. So he gets scared, he doesn't want to die, he doesn't go towards the light, and when he gets off the path to the stairway to heaven, the wall that you can't see is now visible, and it's purple, and it looks a little matrixy. It looks like those green lines that boy from the Matrix could read on a computer screen. And this matrix, instead of being green, is purplish. We know purple is the crown chakra. It's the highest chakra, being purple. Or violet, Roy G. Biv. Violet is the last one. Red, orange, yellow, green, indigo, blue, indigo, violet. So it's purple, it's violet, meaning the highest chakra, the crown chakra, this matrix etheric place. But it does look kind of computer generated. Next slide. Oh, I'm sorry. Go back up. Could you read that thing, please?
The etheric world looks like a computer matrix, which we are.
In this one too?
Can you read that one?
Al-Ru, the field of reeds. So once he breaks out of that matrix wall, he falls and he falls and he falls, and then he finally gets into a field.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at it, I said, hold on, there's a field in the afterlife? Well, for anybody who doesn't find that significant, according to Egyptology, the field of the afterlife is called Al-Ru, field of reeds. Can you read this part then?
In ancient Egyptian mythology, it's the heavenly paradise where Osiris rules. It has been described as the Ka of the Nile Delta. The ancient Egyptians believed that the soul resides in the heart, and so upon death, the weighing of the heart occurred.
The weighing of the heart occurs Ma'at says, all right, your heart is light as a feather, you Gucci, you can go to heaven. So your heaven, according to Egyptian mythology, is the field of reeds. Next slide. We're going to see the same thing in Assassin's Creed. In Assassin's Creed, the mantra is, may you walk in the field of reeds. Next slide. So what do we got here, sis?
Here we have a Jerry, and Joe Gardner has met with a Jerry, and a Jerry is telling the new souls, she's sharing the quiet coyote. She's needing them to be quiet. However,
right. So he falls into the field of reeds. These new souls come after him because he's trying to hide. The new souls come after him. They attract Jerry. And Jerry starts throwing up gang signs. And she says, quiet coyote, quiet coyote. So I'm like, okay, I guess we're going to have to look up quiet coyote.
mm-hmm.
Next slide.
And he actually, right now, while he's attempting to hide, he's ended up in the great before. So that's where this scene is taking place also.
So, right. So he was in that etheric zone, about to go, taking the stairway to heaven, to the great beyond. He runs, breaks the matrix, falls, ends up in the great beyond, which is the field of reeds with the new souls, where he meets Jerry, who says, quiet coyote, quiet coyote.
Yes.
Next slide. So could you read this one, please?
Quiet coyote, the sign of the horns, hand gesture is used in criminal gang subcultures to indicate membership or affiliation with Mara Salvatrucha. The significance is both the resemblance of an inverted devil horns to the letter M, and in the broader demonic connotation of fierceness and nonconformity.
So a lot of times when I be dealing with a lot of the family, because first we're going to say what it's not, because a lot of the family, if I do like, oh, Crumb, are you a Mason? This devil worship. I said, no, this is divided. This is united. Stop saying peace like this and dividing. Say peace like this where you, oh, no, you're just throwing. I'm like, okay, let's just talk about all the people who are still spooky. They still believe in the devil. They still think there's a boogeyman, monster in the closet, under the bed. They're scared of altars. Anything dealing with anything outside of Jesus is devil worship. You know the type. So when they're going to see the quiet coyote, I'm going to go watch the movie. When they go watch the movie, they're going to see the quiet coyote thing, and they're going to get spooky. Mm-hmm. They're going to get spooky. Next slide, sis, for they spooky asses.
Okay. And also, if you're in the Hispanic culture, they may say this is El Diablo. And if you're in Texas, it would reference the Longhorns. So this goes across cultures.
Gratitude. So now let's talk about quiet coyote in real life. Can you continue? Read this, please.
Definition. The meaning of mudra, which is a Sanskrit word, is closure or seal. And in the reference of the movie, it says, close your mouth, seal your mouth, be quiet, I'm talking. Mudra hand positions are physical gestures that have an effect on the energy flow of the body. And to form the quiet coyote, you place your middle finger and ring finger together on your thumb. You then put your pointer finger and pinky finger up in the air. Your thumb, middle finger, and ring finger form the mouth of the coyote. Your pointer finger and pinky finger create the ears of the coyote. And this is from inside.ewu.edu, quiet coyote.
So now, a lot of the spooky, ignorant, I still believe that there's a devil. People, they're very superstitious. You know, they're not really well read. You know, a lot of them people still watch Crumb TV. A lot of them, we're going to see the Quiet Coyote, they're going to associate it with something negative because they're very limited within their understanding of anything other than the religious aspect of everything. So now, what they may not be familiar with, other than gang signs, is mudras. Family, if I do like this and all you can think of is a gang sign, then you may be a little bit Iggerish. I'm not even Niggerish. Okay? A mudra. I'm gonna learn you something today. A mudra is where you put your hand into a certain symbol and it allows energy to flow. Okay? Okay, class? Next slide. Could you please?
Jerry, who was saying the Quiet Coyote.
Quiet Coyote.
Jerry is a host of The Great Before. She is a two-dimensional light being. She is a geometrical angle of light, biblically known as an angel of God's light. These angels are also called God's heavenly host. And here we have a book called Angels by Michael S. Heiser, and it's what the Bible really says about God's heavenly host.
Right. So now when we're dealing with angels, angels are hosts of heaven. Go back and read your Bible, Christians. Moses never spoke to God at the burning bush. That's right. Moses never spoke to God at the burning bush. That was a host of the Lord. That was an angel Moses spoke to at the burning bush. Okay? So you can stop saying that Moses spoke to God at the burning bush, just showing that you don't even read your Bible. You just going with what the preacher said, and he said it because he was excited. Mm-hmm. And you know, we base information off what sound good. The Lord don't come to you. God don't come to you. You go to God, if anything. You know, the president don't come to you. The president will send for you, and you come to him. That's how that works. So now Moses went to a host of the Lord, which is an angel. In the movie, in The Great Before, these hosts are the ones that are going to seat you in IHOP, tell you where to sit. Jerry tells the new souls where to go to get their personalities developed. That's another thing. I'm not going to talk about that just yet. Mm-hmm. But with that said, she's a host. She's a two-dimensional light being. Well, an angel is an anagram. Sis, do you know what an anagram is?
It's where you take a word and it makes another word.
Right. So now, if you switch the letter angel around, do you know what you will get?
Angle.
You're going to get angle. So now you're dealing with this light that's coming at an angle. Now, but here's the thing. She says, as she says that, she changes her shape because, go back 2 slides, please. One more. So you can see right there, she's just a two-dimensional form. She's a two-dimensional form. And now she just changed right here into circular beads of light. And she's explaining who she is to old boy. When we're dealing with angels, angels are angels of God's light. Go read your Bible. Angels of God's light. Angles of God's light. Next slide. Can you please?
These angles are circular, not linear. They form the flower of life, which is a geometric pattern of repeating, overlapping circles of an equal radius in two-dimensional space.
Her ass turned into a damn flower of life. If you saw the movie, no. If you know what the flower of life is, can you please press 1? That girl changed into a flower of life. And the picture at the very top left corner is just to show you the angle of light, but it's circular. You see the angle, 90 degrees, 45 degrees, but it's still circular. Next slide, please, unless you have anything to add.
Yes, I would like to add. Now, again, I said I watched this movie 3 times, and in not one of them times did I see this scene, this right here, it flashes so fast. And Brother Crumb has a great eye. I just want to say that. This movie, also in this review, there's a lot we have not covered due to time. So definitely this is a study opportunity. So watch the movie for yourself. And of course, if you have to, go back and watch it again.
And if anybody wants this PowerPoint, you can just email me at crumbtv@, that's crumbtv alpha delta sigma @gmail.com. Now, if you want this particular PowerPoint, you're going to have to say soul. What's the name of this video? A movie review. So just type in the subject line, in the subject field, soul movie review, if you want this PowerPoint. Anyway, can you read this, please?
So this is about the Vesica Pisces. Is the fish, is the origin of the Jesus fish.
Right. So now when we're dealing with, go back one slide. When we're dealing with these circles, Jerry turned into a bunch of circles. At her most complex, she was the flower of life. As the circles got simpler, it turned to a seed of life. I'm sorry, turned into the flower of life. No, the seed of life, and then the egg of life. Once it gets simpler, next slide. It's only 2 circles. If you look in them 2 circles, you're going to see a fish. That's the Jesus fish.
Mm-hmm.
The Jesus fish. Could you read this thing at the bottom right-hand corner? The primitive.
The primitive ceremony of baptismal rebirth often involved being drawn bodily through a giant yoni. Those who underwent this ceremony were called born again.
This is the original being born again. Only reason you get dumped in water in Christianity is because it's symbolizing you getting coming from your mother's womb again. You're born again from the water of the womb. So that fish sign is a symbol of those circles. This heavenly being, this heavenly thing. Keep in mind, go back up 2 slides. Keep in mind when you're dealing with 2 more. So keep in mind when you're dealing with her, she's dealing with new souls. She's dealing with the birth of new souls. Those little kids throwing up the gang sign, Quiet Coyote, her annoying ass voice. Quiet Coyote. She sound like a damn the wife from All in the Family.
Edith Bunker.
Edith. Everybody pulled their weight. No need for a welfare state. You know, the crackly Jewish voice. Quiet Coyote. The one who's saying Quiet Coyote, she's dealing with the new spirits, the new souls. So when we're talking about these circles, go back up to the yoni. When we're talking about these circles and this new birth, this is where whole Jesus fish comes from. It's called the Vesica Pisces. Next slide. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I just remembered. When you're dealing with the Vesica Pisces, it's the fish, the Jesus fish. Jesus was the Pisces. Anyway, can you read this blurb, please?
Joe runs from the great beyond and ends up in the great before, which has been rebranded as the You Seminar. This is the place where you get your 7 personality traits. So again, we're going to see the symbol on her clipboard is 3, 6, 7 circles, family. 7 circles. Count them up. 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom, 1 in the middle. Now keep in mind the egg of life is 8 circles. There's 1 circle behind her circle. All those circles that she has will form a 3-dimensional cube.
there's a dot. If you connect all the dots, it will form a three. That thing she's pointing to will form a cube. But there's a matter of fact, look at the picture of the three-dimensional egg that I'm showing. The original 8 cells of the egg of life. You see the the 4 balls on the top, right, sis?
Correct.
And you only see 3 balls on the bottom, right?
Right.
Will you understand there's a dark-skinned ball in the back that we're not seeing that forms 8 circles that'll give you a full cube. Can somebody type damn Gina if I'm teaching right now? Can somebody type damn Gina if I'm going in? Next slide, please. Oh, I'm sorry. Back. One more time. So this is the place where they get their 7. We're dealing with that number 7. There's 7 personality traits. There's one in the back that you don't see. Keep in mind, you do have a zodiac family, but you got your moon signs too. Crumb, I'm a Scorpio. I know, but what's your moon sign? What's the one in the back? What's the one in the back? Anyway, next slide. 7 personality traits. Now, can you read this for me, please, sis?
Disney Pixar's movie Soul shows how people's personalities come to be. This may remind you of Inside Out, which explored those particular personality traits.
Now, here's the issue. There were only 5 personality traits in here, but we know that there are 7 in the movie. I didn't even watch Inside Out. If you saw Inside Out, press 1. I'm gonna press 2 because I did not see it. If you did not see Inside Out, press 2, and I'm gonna press 2. I didn't see that movie. Listen, y'all asking a lot. I don't even watch movies like that. I just watched this because of a black dude in the movie. That was the only reason. I'm gonna keep it 5,000. Only reason I watched that joint because one of us was in it. Other than that, I didn't watch Inside Out. You gotta have a certain, gotta be certain melanated people in the movie before it even draws enough interest for me. But anyway, yeah, the family said I don't even watch movies for real. Shoot, I feel you on that. Anyway, but and some of us have children too. Some of us have children, so you gotta watch it, because you want to screen what they're watching, because a lot of the new children's movie got gay stuff in it, so you got to screen it first. Like, Chrome, I watched it, but I just didn't want my child watching no sex scenes or no crazy, whatever they trying to promote. We're not targeting children, but then the daggone cigarettes got cartoon characters on them. You remember that, right?
Yeah.
The Joe Camel and all of the cartoon characters with the cigarettes. Now all the LGBT stuff got children up there. We're not targeting children. Next slide.
And this movie has those agendas also. The transgender, the gay, lesbian, those agendas are in here as well.
We didn't really speak on that.
But again, there's a lot we didn't speak on.
Yeah, there's a lot we didn't speak on, but absolutely it is in there. Next slide. So can you read this to me, please?
Yes, this is Terry. Terry is the antagonist in the Disney Pixar 2020 animated feature film Soul. She is an accountant whose job is to count souls who go to the great beyond. And we also have a Terry is short for secretary, but she is an accountant. She, like all the other angels, is female. She processes 151, 151, that's 7.
Equals 7.
1,000 souls daily. And this is real life. This is real life statistics here. 105.2 per second she processes.
Okay.
The death rate, when we looked at it, was 151.
1,000 people die each day.
600 people die each day. 6,316 people die each hour. 105 people die each minute. Nearly 2 people die each second.
So she says 105 per second. That's a little, whatever. But she said she processes 151,000 souls daily. And we found out 151 people die each day is about right. So, they were close enough. The other thing I found out that really stood out to me is that Terry is not a man, it's a woman, which is a unisex name. and we're going to see a lot of androgyny in this movie. In terms of the spirit realm, the gender thing just isn't there, so I get it. There's androgyny involved in it. So Terry is a little bit androgynous because it looks like a man. You would assume with the pointy nose is a little masculine. However, Terry is a female,
And the brow.
and the protruded brow.
Mm-hmm.
Terry's a female. Now, in the Bible, which is patriarchal, all the angels are male. Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, Emmanuel, Ishmael. You know, they were all males. So now you have in this Disney divinity story, all of the angels are female. I find that to be very interesting. Next slide. Could you please?
In a pivotal scene, math whiz Katherine Johnson and team of white male engineers, and we're referencing the Hidden Figures movie right now. They're staring at a blackboard trying to solve equations for the trajectory of astronaut John Glenn's space capsule. They're stumped until she hits a solution called Euler's method.
So you got these females and they're mathematics, they're mathematicians. This particular one is a mathematical genius who is looking at a blackboard and is stumped by an issue. Now, the blackboard that she's looking at is an abacus. It is an old, ancient mathematical tool. In the movie Hidden Figures, you're going to have bright, melanated sisters who are bright like light beings. They're very bright. And she uses a ancient ancient math thing to figure out how to figure the problem, which is she uses Euler's method or Euler's method, depending on how you want to pronounce that. Mm-hmm. So now, because this movie is based off melanated people, I wouldn't be surprised if some of this movie wasn't inspired by Hidden Figures. That's my interpretation. I hope the family can see how I would come across that. All right, the Facebook is jumping like Jordan. Can you see that, or is that just me?
Peace out to my humble brother Taz. I am at his home. I am here for a little while, and I am here in his studio setup. So peace out. Peace to my humble brother Taz.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit him up right now. We gotta,
because I was in my phone about to, and
I don't think that's ever happened.
Close my screen so he can come make some adjustments.
Okay. Next slide. Could you please?
The abacus is also a calculating tool that was in use in the ancient Near East, Europe, China, and Russia, centuries before the adoption of the written Arabic numeral system. The exact origin of the abacus is still unknown. And here we just wanted to share with you some history and a definition of what this math tool is that is used as a counting method.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it from here. I'm sorry. Yeah, so the abacus. The abacus is also a calculating tool that was used in ancient Near East, Europe, China, and Russia for centuries before the adoption of the written Arabic numeral system. The exact origin of the abacus is still unknown. Next slide, because we're gonna have to deal with the connections here, family. So now, old girl Terry finds out the count is off because Joe done jumped off the stairway to heaven. So now he's off the stairway to heaven, and you good?
Yeah, I don't know how I jumped out of here. I'm good.
Oh no, that was me because I know he had to come up there, so I didn't want to be too much of a distraction. So now he goes into the great beyond, or what we call the field of dreams. I'm sorry, the field of reeds, the great before. And on that, he meets 22. So now, this is where the numerology parts gets real deep, because this character's name is 22. The character's name is 22. That's crazy. So let's go read. Now, this is numerologynation.com. So is 22 a twin flame number? Yes, it is. Many of the master numbers, like 11 and 22, signify twin flame existence and relationships, sometimes due to the different life battles that come up. One might think their twin flame has left them for good, especially if you haven't spoken to them in a while. So now 22 represents something, a connection. And we know when we're dealing with the movie that it's a soul. And we know the soul, we see the soul, S-O-L, comes from the sun, and the sun is technically fire. So now when we're dealing with this soul, or this twin flame, it's a soul mate. Y'all see what I just did there? A twin flame. Soul, S-O-L. Soul means fire, the sun. Twin flame. These, I think I hear a little bit of an echo on your side in the background, sis. You don't have this playing anywhere else, do you? Okay, I'm just going to mute your mic while I talk, so it won't be an echo. So now his twin flame, or his soulmate, is 22, because it's literally in her name. Could you read this italicized stuff that I typed in here, please?
22 is the potential for spiritual mastery and great achievement. Master number 22 is potentially the most successful of all numbers in numerology. It is the most powerful of all numbers and often called the master builder. The master number 22 can turn the most ambitious of dreams into reality, but only when it is supported properly by other numbers in the chart.
There we have it. So her name is 22. Once I heard her name was 22, I already knew we were dealing with something serious. Next slide.
Did we read the part under that?
Yep, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Also, right quick, I want to reference, for those who are familiar with numerology, the master numbers are 11, 22, and 33. And each of those numbers are in this movie, and we'll continue to share that with you as well.
Right. Please.
The other angels give Terry a hard time about the count being off, alluding to a war in heaven. They were at fault by allowing Joe into the mentorship program, but did not want to help and told Jerry to check the Akashic records.
So now we have Terry, who has approached all of the Jerrys. Every angel in this movie name is Jerry, except this angel, whose name is Terry, for secretary. Now, the other angels are very nonchalant. They're very whatever. You know, if there's a problem, you fix it. And it's more of a challenge. And Terry accepts the challenge, and he goes to their room where they keep all the information. So with that said, the family might not understand the room with the information. Next slide. In the movie, that is the Akashic records they're showing our children. When we were children, we never knew there was a room in heaven where they kept all the information. Only book we knew about was the book for Judgment Day, that they kept our personal records, but it was just one book. According to the movie, it's this whole filing room. So now, could you read the Akashic records, sky or space, for me, please? You said unmute your mic.
The Akashic records are said to hold the collective consciousness of all beings who have ever lived on the earth across all time. This magical database exists on the astral plane and contains infinite life experiences as well as the keys to understanding the deeper karmic nature of all things in the universe. It is believed that the answers to all questions can be found in the Akashic Records.
So he had a question, and they said, listen, all answers can be found in the Akashic Records. So he went to the Akashic Records to find the answer. Go back up. Let's look at it again. So he's over in the Akashic Records. All right, next slide. Please. You just got to unmute your mic. Sis, are you there?
I'm here. I'm between the PowerPoint and the studio. So apologies, everyone, for the delay. So here we have a question that was made to 22, who is voiced by Tina Fey. And the question is from Joe. Why do you sound like a middle-aged white woman? And 22 responded, I don't. This is all an illusion.
Indeed. Now, they called her ass out. Why you sound like a middle-aged white woman? Because you are a middle-aged white woman, and you're not middle-aged. Y'all know Europeans age in dog years. Stop playing with me. By the time they turn 27, it's downhill. That's an old lady. When you address her, you say, yes, ma'am. And if her ass need help across the street, you need to hold her hand. Or she grab your elbow. You know how to do it. That's an old lady, Tina Fey. But yeah, her answer was, I don't. This is all an illusion. I found that to be very interesting. 22 said, this is all an illusion. Next slide.
A thin sheet of reality, the universe as a hologram. This whole place is hypothetical. I just use this voice because it annoys people, is what 22 says. No physical body means to touch, taste, smell.
It's all an illusion, is what the soul had said. She said, this whole place is a hypothetical.
It's a hypothetical. Mm-hmm.
It's just information, just thought. So this is a thought in somebody else's mind. This is a hypothetical. This is a what if. Whose mind? Walter Disney. She says, I just use this voice because it annoys people. White women's voices are annoying. Press 1 if a white woman's voice is annoying. Let me hold on. Where's my one button? I'm about to press the hell out of this one button. I'm about the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm gonna hit that jank 7 times. Y'all playing with me. Hold on. There we go. Her voice is annoying as it gets. Shoot. Anyway, next slide. Oh no. I'm sorry. Also in here, she tells him, if you don't have a body, you don't have the ability to touch, taste, or smell. Next slide. Please, sis.
22. So this is the script in this scene of the movie. 22 says, well, this is the zone. It's the space between the physical and spiritual. Joe says, wait a minute.
Wait. Actually, here, I'll do Joe. You'll do 22.
Okay. All right. Well, this is the zone. It's the space between the physical and spiritual.
Wait a minute. I was here today during my audition. This must be where musicians come when they get into a flow.
Not just musicians. Watch this.
So this is the part where he goes to the great before. He doesn't want to be there. He wants to find people like him. So she takes him to a place, and this place is called the zone. This picture I'm showing, it shows the place where earth and heaven meet. It's called the mystic, according to these circles that I've posted. But there's a picture right here. It says the zone, in the zone. And some of us go into that zone and just zone out. Anything to add?
Yes, the Mystics will be seeing them soon.
All right, please. So I'll be Joe, you be 22, okay?
Okay.
Wait, you are, I'm sorry. Wait, are you actually helping me?
Joe, I have been here for who knows how long, and I've never seen anything that's made me want to live. And then you come along. Your life is sad and pathetic, and you're working so hard to get back to it. Why? I mean, this I gotta see.
You know, why are the gods so interested with what happens on earth? Why are the gods so caught up in the affairs of men? Is heaven that uninteresting? There was a book written by Alan F. Alfred, excuse me. Can you read the title of this book?
Yes. He is also the author of The Phoenix Solutions, When the Gods Came Down, The Catastrophic Roots of Religion Revealed.
Why do the gods always come down? Don't you know? I would assume if for me, the way that these Negro Christians play heaven up so high and mighty, you would never want to leave. Mm-hmm. But for whatever reason, the gods always want to leave heaven and come down here with us. And this was a pivotal point in the movie where we see that story. Because right here, when we're dealing with the story of Lilith, Lilith did not want to be human. Go back and read the book of Genesis. God told Adam to leave. He didn't tell Eve to leave. Eve left because she wanted to. God's house was a whorehouse. The women can stay. The guys got to go. If you got ass, you pass. You know, it was one of them situations. He didn't tell Eve to leave. Eve just left. He actually told Lilith to come back. Lilith left paradise. She was like, I'm out of here, man. Screw this. So now Lilith did not want to become physical. She wanted to stay in her spirit, her higher self. But some of these gods always want to come down here and become physical. Go look at the story of Zeus. Zeus came down here and became physical. Jesus would have sex with women. Jesus came down here and became physical. It said in the Old Testament that the angels lusted after the daughters of men and came down here. So this girl says, she said, Joe, I've been here for who knows how long. And I've never seen anything that made me want to live. I never wanted to be human. I don't deal with y'all. But then you came along. Your life is so sad and pathetic. You know, you're a human. I'm a god. And you're working so hard to get back to it. Why? I mean, this I gotta see. At that point right there, at that point in the movie, they were telling us something. Next slide. So that zone that she took him to with the mystic zone. Can you read this this italicized part I got up here?
Yes, 22 introduces Joe to the mystic without borders, who helps lost alive souls find their way.
Also, can you read the definition of mystic too?
Yes, mystic, someone who believes in unseen realities, one who believes that they can have access to hidden mysteries that transcend ordinary human knowledge, one who believes that they can actually know God.
So now we see the little thought bubble coming from the teacher, but it's not really a thought bubble because it's a square, because she's thinking inside the box. When you graduate high school, you have to put on a mortar board, which is a Masonic term, because that mortar board represents you thinking inside the box. This is the opposite of a dunce cap, which is circular. And now she is making them think within the borders. The mystics operate outside of the borders. In the story, he meets, you know, so she takes him to the zone. But then she also takes him to see the mystic without borders. Next slide. So the mystic without borders pulls up on this ship. Can you tell me what's special about this ship?
This ship on the front has the dove with the olive branch in its mouth.
Okay.
And also it has the 7 life preservers on the side. So we go with that number 7 again.
Number 7, 7 life preservers and the dove. When we look at with a dove with a life with the olive branch, that's the story of Moses. Moses in the ark, in the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Save our souls. Does anybody know what SOS stands for? It stands for Save Our Souls. And the dove in the New Testament represents the Spirit of God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. The Holy Ghost is usually represented by a dove. In this case, Moses sent a dove with an olive branch. Next slide.
And also the anchor is a peace sign. And we also have the tie-dye sails.
Right, because he's a hippie. The peace sign is hippie. The tie-dye sails are hippie. And, you know, the hippie time was a time of peace.
Mm-hmm.
The peace revolution.
Yeah. And also a study opportunity. Look at where the term hippies came from.
Hippie. If you look at hippie, that's going to be a musical time. They had disco for disconnect, but hippie, because when we're dealing with peace, shalom means peace, hippies means peace, salam means peace, Salem means peace, Jerusalem was the city of peace. When you're dealing with hippies later formed hip hop because this was a musical revolution. Next slide, please.
On the left, peace. The use of a dove and olive branch as a symbol of peace originated with the early Christians, who portrayed the act of baptism accompanied by a dove holding an olive branch in its beak, and also used the image on their sepulchres. The dove and olive branch also appeared in Christian images of Noah's Ark, which the master students have already seen the Noah's Ark reference. On the right, we have peace. The dove represents peace of the deepest kind. It soothes and quiets our worried or troubled thoughts, enabling us to find renewal in the silence of mind. The dove's roles as spirit messenger, maternal symbol, and liaison impart an inner peace that helps us to go about our lives calmly and with purpose.
I wanted to say one more time. We actually already hit the hour mark, so I'm just going to go with it. If you want this PowerPoint, it's a great teaching opportunity for your children. You can watch the movie and kind of teach this, these occult measures to them. If you want this PowerPoint, just email me at Crumb TV, Alpha Delta Sigma, Crumb TV ads, ADS, Crumb TV ads at gmail.com for this PowerPoint. If you want this great teaching opportunity for the children, they can watch it and learn at the same damn time. Next slide.
So more references to dove and the symbol. But the dove could find no place to set his feet because there was water all over the surface of the earth. So it returned to Noah in the ark. Then Noah knew that the water had receded from the earth. He waited 7 more days and sent the dove out again, but this time it did not return to him. On the right, from www.worldbirds.org, they are messengers of God, and their message usually is, no matter what is happening, peace will always follow. When doves appear, it is a sign of your innocence and grace. Know and trust that your loved ones are watching you always. Dove totem animal brings peace, joy, and harmony.
So now when we're dealing with the dove, this is a totem. This is a familiar. We're going to get into that in just a second. Next slide.
So on this slide, so I see someone has referenced the drugs on the boat. We're about to cover that. So as this ship comes in on the scene, it's playing a song. And the first words of the song is, the words that they play as it come in is, Joe is in the basement mixing up medicine. and that is in reference to codeine distillation. This song is by Bob Dylan. It's called Subterranean Homesick Blues. And these are some of the lyrics here. Face full of black soot, talking that the heat put plants in the bed, so on and so forth. You can read that. They carry around a fire hose. So here we are sharing the reference to the fire hose that was used as a weapon on the people during the civil rights movement, the peaceful protest. So we have those images here. And a little further down on the bottom line, we have the better jump down a manhole. So that, of course, we go to the reference of when Joe Gardner fell down the manhole when he was chit-chatting on the phone about how he got the gig with Dorothea and he wasn't paying attention to where he was walking. And so that landed him on the stairway to heaven. And this is where we're at in the movie right now.
Next slide.
Mystic finds out Joe is dead and says, "We've never connected an untethered soul back to his body before." In the word untethered is the word ether. Just like Ethernet cords tether physical computers to the virtual internet, ether cords, your hair, tether the body to the soul.
Absolutely. So I wanted to just point this out to the family. Inside the word tether, look at the definition. There it is right there. Tether. Inside the word tether, you have the word ether. One more time. Inside the word tether, you have the word ether. So now your ether cord is what connects you, is what connects the body to the soul. He says, I never connected an untethered soul, an unethered soul. When you connect your computer directly to the internet or your modem, you're going to use an Ethernet cord. If you work on the computer for your job, hey, I'm working at my job from home, your job is going to demand that you work from a secured Ethernet cord direct internet connection. You can't work on that job from home on a Wi-Fi connection. The job is going to demand it because the Ethernet connection to the internet is more professional, is more respected, it's more secure. When you're dealing with your connection to the ethers, you're going to do that through your hair. It's your tether, it's your ether, it's your cord to the soul. Next slide, please.
The follicles of woolly or 9-ether hair is flat and grows out to form a tight curl. The hair is the key. It's simple and clear. As in the case of a baby, babies are born with straight or curly hair, and as they mature, their genes get stronger and their hair thickens.
Look at the far right, people. Coils are used for energy transfer. The girl has coils in her hair. Those are her cords to the ether world. Someone asks, who is God? And you turn around and show them the waves in the brother's hair because it mimics the galaxy. Why does your hair mimic the galaxy and these energy conductors? Because this is your ether cord. Next slide. That's why in the movie Soul, it was a melanated guy. So now he's trying to get back, even though he's untethered. And now the mystic says to him, perhaps if we travel to a thin spot. Next slide. So now you be the mystic. I'm sorry. I'll be the mystic and you be Joe. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, lost souls are not that different from those in the zone.
What?
The zone is enjoyable, but when that joy becomes an obsession, one becomes disconnected from life. Very strong lines at this point in the movie because they depict a lost soul as a very bad thing, and they depict people being in the zone as a very good thing, but then they're going to tell you how they're very connected. You did a video dedicated to one of our trolls. Check.
Dedicated to what?
a troll, somebody who was trolling on TV?
Yes, I did. It came on a few days ago.
You know, and you were telling me, well, I was telling you about this troll. I said, listen, it's a thin line between love and hate. For those people that love you so much, you know, they'll hate you as equally as much. So for these people that hate me, that's because I know they just love me. That's why I don't hate nobody, because I didn't really love you like that. You know, I didn't really care about you. You know, I was completely indifferent to the whole situation. Had you died, I wouldn't even have blinked. That's how indifferent I was. But if you love somebody or you hate somebody, you're invested in them. I want to know if this person is living or dead. I want to know how they're doing. Whether you want to know it for whatever reason, you want to know. But the person who's indifferent, I don't give a shit either way. I'm sorry for person. I'm sorry about that. But with that said, in the movie, they say that when you're connecting the two, the people in the zone versus the lost souls, it's a thin line.
Mm-hmm.
You can easily be in the zone and turn into a lost soul, or you can turn into a lost soul and easily go back into the zone. Can you read Angel number 22, please?
You're on the path towards greater balance and harmony in your life. Remember, you're able to manifest whatever you focus on and flow your energy towards.
So now when we're dealing with this part, the mystic is talking about balance, and this is where we see a play on 22, because you know you're talking about a life path, and he's on his life path, literally trying to get his life back, and the mystic is trying to warn him to keep balance. Don't be obsessive about getting inside your zone. You know, I talked to somebody on the internet, and I asked them about masturbation and sex and things like that. And you know, I know that we're talking about Disney and the children are listening, but I want to tell you, you know, whether to be an adult theme or not, too much of anything is bad for you. Too much of anything is bad for you. Don't get too caught up in those things, even if they feel good. Next slide.
Around Halloween, legend has it that the veil between the earthly plane and the spiritual world is thin, meaning the two realms collide, and it is easier for spirits to cross over and walk among the living, and vice versa. Souls ready to move on are prepped for an exit. This ethereal curtain is believed to thin just as the days begin to get shorter and the nights stretch longer, perfectly timed with the season.
The veil between the worlds begin to thin around October 15th, becoming its thinnest the eve of the 31st of October, which is Halloween night. The portal closes about November 10th. If anybody has watched any of my Halloween lectures, I've talked about this. I said, fairy. I said the veil gets thin. Can you go back a couple of slides? Just keep hitting up. I'll tell you when to stop. There, down. Yep, one more. So you're going to see the two circles. One says earth, one says heaven, and between the two is the mystic, where they both combine. That's where the veil is thin. Let's go back to the slide we were just at, where we left off at. I'm sorry. Next slide. So the veil is thin around October, November. It's around Halloween. I already did my video on Halloween. Next slide. Please.
This movie takes place around Halloween. In this scene, the next slide, in this scene, you see the calendar behind her over her shoulder. It is November. On the next slide, we're going to zoom in on this calendar.
There's the zoom in. Can somebody please press 1 if they see that this calendar is on November? I am freaking decoding these movies, and sis, do I deserve a subscribe? Have I earned it?
All types of subscribes.
I think I'm really decoding this right now.
Tell them, Brother Crumb, smash that subscribe button.
Smash that subscribe button. Jeez Louise. Okay. Next slide.
Here we have more references to the number 7. When Joe, oh, we didn't talk about this. I don't know if we will get to it. If you haven't watched the movie, you'll catch it. So Joe comes back to Earth, and he is in the hospital where he wakes up at, and he is leaving the hospital right now, and he is on the 7th floor.
He's on the 7th floor, and he's leaving the 7th floor to go to 7th Avenue. The number 7 in this video is family. You don't have to be, your children don't have to be into numerology, and your babies will understand. Like, if you get the PowerPoint and show this to your 12-year-old, 6-year-old, or whoever is watching the Disney movies in your house, and you point this out to them, this is simple enough a child can see it. Say, hey, baby, let me tell you about numerology. See in the movie where they focus on the number 7? Next slide.
Yeah, and the reason they're going to 7th Avenue is to meet Moonwind, the mystic who we referenced a bit ago. That for the thin layer, to take them on the thin layer, because what happened was 22 and Joe came down, and when Joe came down, he went into Cat's body, and 22 went into Joe's body. So they're going to meet Moonwind to get put back in the correct place. Yeah, that's him right there. The crown chakra is the highest chakra that the physical body can hold. It's the 7th chakra, and it is associated with awakening our spirituality.
So the mystic says this. What does he say?
Maintain your meditative state, or you'll break the connection.
He says, maintain your meditative state, or you'll break the connection. He also says,
breathe through your crown chakra.
I'm sorry, he says, breathe through your crown chakra. That's it. Breathe through your crown chakra. Oh, it's right there. Breathe into your crown chakra. That's what he says. Next slide.
So this is the cat lady. She's the cat lady, Christian witch, with her familiar. So we're referencing the cat here, under the guise of a therapy cat.
So she's a cat lady, Christian witch. Can somebody, sis, can we say that together on the count of 3? Because we got to harmonize this one. You ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. Cat lady, Christian witch. We didn't quite harmonize. I think the StreamYard is off a little bit, but nonetheless, she's a cat lady, Christian witch. What a mouthful. And her familiar is this cat, which is a familiar under the guise of therapy cat. Next slide.
In European medieval folklore, familiars, sometimes called familiar spirits, were believed to be low-ranking supernatural small animals, toad, dog, insect, black cat, or imps that would assist witches. Those who have had contact with familiar spirits report that they usually manifest as an animal, but sometimes as a human. When working for cunning folk, they are considered benevolent fairies. But when working with dumb people, they are seen as demons. Since ancient times, witches and magicians have worked magic with the aid of familiars or helpful spirits. Familiars may take the form of a beloved pet, a totem animal, or even a helpful non-physical entity. There are 3 types of familiars: physical, astral, and spiritual.
So we could even say 22 was a familiar to a small degree. The cat is definitely familiar. The dove, in terms of Jesus and Christianity, is a familiar. Next slide.
When 22 first came into the body, she experienced information overload and she wanted to die. Joe gave her a slice of pizza, which made her true colors, the chakras, come out. And 22 wasn't hangry anymore.
I need the family to understand signs and symbols are for the conscious mind. going to say it one more time. Get this PowerPoint and show it to your babies. Explain to your babies that they have chakras. The chakras are going to come in the form of 7 colors. Roy G. Biv. Are you with me, sis? Okay. Roy G. Biv. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. She had reached a point of excitement in the movie. They showed her 7 chakras, no different than the movie Doctor Strange, where the Ancient One punched his chakra soul from out his body. Next slide. It's funny that after he ate that pizza, he loved it, but when he brushed his teeth with that fluoride, he didn't like it. 22 didn't like that. Next slide.
And here we have the cab that Dorothea is getting out of, and Joe and 22 jump into. And we have the number, the 908, which is 17, which is 8. And 8 is referenced in this movie a lot as well. And you'll see that. You want me to go on? And you have
License plate.
Yep. Oh, the license plate. Oh, yeah. The 227, that's 11. 9, 11. And 11 is a master number, and master numbers don't get broken down. So the 11 wouldn't be a 2. It would remain at 11.
Next slide.
And here we have in that same scene behind Dorothea in the awning, we have the number 959.
Next slide.
And this all was like right together. So we also have another number reference. This is a missed call came through from Curly. And at the time it was 2:37 and there were 5 missed calls.
Now, so with that said, all this happens in like 2 minutes. The movie starts just flashing numbers everywhere. You're like, whoa, information overload. They just keep flashing numbers in front of me, Crumb. Why are they flashing all these numbers in the movie? The movie keeps flashing numbers and flashing numbers. And you're like, whoa. I've watched a lot of Disney movies. This is the first movie with so much of a numerical emphasis, even on our phones. I know a lot of people who practice numerology with the time on their phones. Do you know people who do that, sis?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, next slide.
More numbers. The number 2A is on Joe's apartment door. And Connie, his jazz student, shows up, and 22, while in Joe's body, has a conversation with Connie, and he makes reference to a George Orwell quote, and they misquoted the quote. 22 says, "Of course, like my mentor, George Orwell, used to say, state-sponsored education is like the rattling of a stick inside a swill bucket." Now, actually, the quote we're going to share later, and the receipt for finding the quote is in Keep the Aspidistra Flying. It's the first published in 1936. It's a socially critical novel by George Orwell. It is set in 1930s London. The main theme is Gordon Comstock's romantic ambition to defy worship of the money god and status and the dismal life that results.
This is all happening within a matter of like 2 or 3 minutes, and it ends when he these numbers, flashing the numbers with 2A. Then the movie kind of stops showing so many numbers, and we go forward. She drops this bullshit ass quote. Nabbit, I need to stop cursing. I'm sorry.
Okay, so here's the actual quote. It's advertising is the rattling of a stick inside a swill bucket. And this is from the Forbes Quotes website. More of the quote from George Orwell. Most of the employees were hard-boiled, Americanized, go-getting type, to whom nothing in the world is sacred except money. They had their cynical code worked out. The public are swine. Advertising is the rattling of a stick inside a swill bucket. And yet beneath their cynicism, there was the final naivete, the blind worship of the money god.
So she misquoted, instead of saying advertising, she said education. She was out at the school when her favorite author, George Orwell, obviously not, had nothing to say about the school. She was talking about advertising. Next slide.
So here the movie makes reference to Nina Simone on the bookshelf in Joe's apartment. You'll see it here. If you look, there's also a MLK biography there, and everything else is in reference to music. And Nina Simone is known as the high priestess of soul. So she is referenced here, and I thought that this was of some significance. And the movie's called Soul, and she's the high priestess. Now, the book that is shown here on the bookshelf is called I Put a Spell on You, and it is the autobiography of Nina Simone.
Next slide.
More numerology.
So if I could just back up, he goes to a thin spot, goes back into his body, but he's an effing klutz. So he goes into the cat's body versus going into his body. And 22, who doesn't want to be human, falls into his body by accident. And now they've got their bodies mixed up. That's what we're seeing right now. Next slide.
Yeah, because at the thin spot with the mystic, they jumped the gun and went ahead of time. So
right, he said wait, and he did not wait.
Yeah, he didn't wait. They didn't wait.
So now Karen is after him. And when Karen is after him, we're going to see a bunch of scenes, and we're not going to go into all those scenes, but there's a bunch of numbers that show. The one with, I'm sorry, not Karen, but Terry. What numbers do you see in that first top left corner?
The 22, the master number that does not get reduced.
The 22 master number in the top right-hand corner of the top left-hand picture. There it is, 22. The picture with his mom in the cab, 378. The picture in the bottom, 73. And right beside 73 is 33 backwards, Patrick Ewing number, 33 backwards. And these are master numbers. And then bottom right-hand corner, we're going to see 39. And then on the right side, we're going to see 39 again with 50. 39, 50, 39.
Mm-hmm.
They're flashing numbers like crazy. Anybody on the Rain Man-ish is going to be having downloads out the wazoo based off this movie. Next slide. So 22 kept saying, I'm jazzing, I'm jazzing, I'm jazzing. What did you think about usage of the word jazzing in this movie?
It caught my ear, and it sounded a little off. The energy, the vibration was off, and I was like, jazzing, sound like jizzing. So I had to bring this receipt for jizzing.
What is jizzing?
Jizzing is to ejaculate, cum, sprog, spoof. Sentence, I caught him jizzing in his pants over a picture.
Jizzing. And instead of saying, I believe they were making a sexual reference because they're soulmates, a man and a woman, female and a male, older and younger. And she and it's the little girl in a man's body talking about I'm jazzing. Love jazz for lovers, because jazz is a very sexual music. Next slide.
22 is shown here. So they've left Earth, watched the movie, see what happened. But here they're back. And 22 has become a lost soul because she has become obsessed with something that disconnected her from life. As a dark being, she is even more powerful than a light being. 22 internalized all negative feedback she ever received. which contributed to her becoming a lost soul.
So she's had mentors because the only reason he was able to get off of the stairway to heaven because he slipped by accident in a mentor program that light beings, all the Jerrys, were very relaxed about. Only one who really cared was Terry. Anyway, Terry gets them back. They get back there, and Joe talks crap to 22. 22 becomes depressed and becomes a lost soul now that 22 has experienced life. So 22 is really internalized. In the movie, you'll see it. 22 has internalized all the negative things that has been said to her. And I think this is perfect for children. And let me just hit this thing for anybody who's interested in using this as a teaching thing for their children. But this is perfect for children because you can see how the soul is inside the body. And it's a dark energy based off the internalization of what's happening outside. I know the family wants to put God outside the body. You want to put the devil outside the body. You want to put all these things outside the body. But inside the body, there's a lot going on. And I think, religion gets away from that. Lean not on your own understanding. Don't worry about what's going on inside your head. Within the movie, they allow you to say, hey, I've internalized a lot of what happens on the outside of me. I think this would be perfect for parents that don't see the harm in letting their children watch TV. So now the child is going to internalize, the over-sexualized cartoons or the white glorification in the cartoons or, the commercialized aspect of the commercials that play in between the cartoons. Your child's going to internalize this as this childlike spirit internalized it in the movie. And I think it's a very important aspect because when a woman wears blonde hair, she doesn't think about how her daughter internalizes that. And then, we're going to make excuses to say the ancestors wore blonde hair as if your child doesn't understand what's the white superior dynamic operating all around them. And I think, Joe as an adult did not understand what was happening, what he did to that child, and all these asshole parents who, wear Jordans around the child. Now your child is going to wear Jordans as a status symbol, and versus your child building ego based off real accomplishments. Now Jordan is accomplishment, and you looking stupid, and your child looking stupid, and you don't want to acknowledge that these things are internalized by the babies because they're impressionable. And Joe had to learn that. And I think half of our parents, when I call them a-holes, hopefully this scene will help them understand what you do to your child has an impact. You're glorifying these stupid things that mean nothing. You're saying, oh, Crumb, I can't say damn. But in the movie, Joe kept saying can't. I don't care if my child says damn, F, or B. I don't allow my son to say can't. I don't say negative things that are going to poison my child. In the movie, he didn't curse one time, but he kept saying negative things, and the child was internalizing it, and it made her a lost soul. So now, Crumb. So now for me, I be telling my son, baby, you the shit. Crumb, you shouldn't say that to the child, but you sit here saying things that aren't profanity, that aren't cursing. Joe had cursed that girl without saying damn, F, B, N, or nothing. He cursed her, and she internalized that. So get off my back when I drop the N bomb or the B bomb. Hey hole. I'm sorry, continue. Next slide.
They say every time a man dies, a baby is born. However, there are 15,000 births per hour. That means 4 babies are born per second. At the same time, there are 6.3 thousand deaths per hour, or 1.75 per second. That means that every time someone dies, there are about 2.5 children being born. Just like the Grim Reaper guides you to death, Joe guided 22 to life.
So when C22 is a life number, a master number for not one day I'm gonna get these numbers and play the lotto. That's a one day thing. It's a very niggerish way to look at the thing that we're trying to tell you about. What we're talking about is a life path. These numbers aren't a get rich quick scheme. It's to help you throughout your journey. So just like the Grim Reaper helps you and journeys you to death, Joe was a soul that helped and guided 22 to life. Is that was the dichotomy at the end of the movie to let you understand where we were going and what they were going in terms of the movie. Next slide. So there's a lot more that happens, but we're not going to give you the ending. Yeah, you said there's a lot more that happens. That's not the next slide. Is there another slide after that? No, the very last slide said movie. No worries, I'll fix it. But with that said, that was the breaking down of the movie Soul. I really hope the family enjoyed that. Please.
So now that wasn't all, but weird. What happened was in that movie that we shared when the ship came in, the Bob Dylan movie, it was Bob Dylan's first hit on the top 40 charts in the United States. There are other things in those lyrics, and one was so big that we've decided to put it into its own separate broadcast, PowerPoint presentation. So stay tuned for that. Also, I wanted to share that there were some references to being ashy and putting lotion on Joe's body, and Brother Crumb has covered We Are the Reptilians. So check out one of those videos or all of them. And also there were some butt references as well. So it seems like there was more, but those are the slides that we have.
And I wanted to ask the family if they saw or interpreted that Tina Fey was 22. Tina Fey could have been a white savior. I'm not going to tell the people the end of the movie. You got to watch that for yourself to see why I would say Tina Fey was the white savior. But you possibly could interpret Tina Fey as being a white savior in the movie. Possibly. I'm not 100% sure on that. I want to see what the family thinks. Let me know in the comments. Was Tina Fey a white savior? If you did watch the movie. If not, then, was there a white savior at all? If not, let me know. Or just generally, what was your thoughts on the movie? We always encourage you, family. If you're a master student, it's just expected that you smash the like button. If you're new to Crumb TV, smash that subscribe button and hit that like button, family. And definitely drop a comment. Let us know what you think. Share this video in those groups, just not your page. Share it in those groups, not just your page. This is a request to my master students. If you are a master student, if not, then I don't care what you do. You don't see the value in education anyway, and you're going to share the Kobe Bryant video before you share anything that's going to uplift the people. So I already know how you get down. Anyway, with that said, if you want this PowerPoint, family, all you have to do is email me at crumbtvads. That's crumbtvalpha@gmail.com. crumbtvalpha, crumbtvads, crumbtvads@gmail.com. If you want this PowerPoint, just simply title the PowerPoint and put in the subject line Soul Movie Review, so I know what you want from me, family. Please and thank you. Also, I wanted to thank you, Joy, for coming on the platform, gracing us with your presence and information. Could you tell the people before you depart who you are, where they can find you at?
Yes, I am Joy Allen of the Memoirs of a Karmic Dynasty. You can find me on my YouTube channel, The Memoirs of a Karmic Dynasty. You can also find me on my Facebook page, Joy Allen, and of course here on Crumb TV and the YouTube Branch of Knowledge channel.
Oh, Branch of Knowledge. I always forget about Branch of Knowledge. Yeah, we got to shout them out. You can always catch both of us on Branch of Knowledge. I don't show Branch of Knowledge enough love, so I want to apologize for that in advance for anybody who is already subscribed over yonder. I had to throw that one out at you. I'm just going to throw my my thing on my USB drive so I can promote this last thing, sis, and just stand by in the studio for me if you don't mind. Please and thank you. All right, so family, with that said, can't get this button. There we go. With that said, I'm going to be doing a workshop. Oh, it is right here. I didn't have to plug my stuff in. I thought I forgot it, but I did not. Awesome. Let me take that off then. Eject. Okay, so with that said, family, I am going to be doing a workshop. It is called the Digital Wallet Workshop. If you want to be a part of that, family, we're going to help everybody set up their digital wallets. We're also going to help you learn how to invest and put some coins in those wallets. I'm talking about fiat currency. I'm talking about digital currency. I'm talking about real stuff to buy food with, not something that's just interesting to know. If you want to be a part of the Digital Wallet Workshop, family, just email me at crumbtvads, that's ads@gmail.com, and put in the subject line digital wallet. I want to thank everybody in advance for participating in that. That's sure to be a fireball. With that said, family, I want to thank everyone again, and I want to leave you the exact same way I came to you. In peace.